Hi everybody, my name's Lizzie and I'm the Schools Liaison Officer at Trinity College, and today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about why Trinity is such a fab place to study and to live. So Trinity is one of the largest colleges, so there are about 600 undergraduates in the student body, so that's about 200 in your year. That makes Trinity a fairly big college. So there are some colleges where you'll have about 70 people in a year. The sort of median is about 100, so Trinity is very big, which a lot of people like because it means there's always new people to meet, there's always a lot of social things going on. It's split across 3 sites as well. So you have the main college site, you have Hewells Court, and you have Burrells Field. They're each about maybe a 2 to 5 minute walk apart from each other. So yeah, they're quite separate, but also it's very easy to get within college. And there are hundreds of student rooms on site. Accommodation is guaranteed throughout your degree, which is really nice because it's one less thing to worry about. And the accommodation is all really nice. And it means that you'll always be within sort of walking distance of your friends, which is great. So this is sort of a visual of Trinity site. So you've got Great Court, which is where the chapel, where the library, the bar, JCR, they're all on the main site. So you can choose to live right in the heart of college. Most people tend to live on the main site for at least one of the years of their degree, or you can live a short walk away. So as you can see, you've got Hewells Court, which is just across the road. The Wolfson building is there, which is where most freshers will live. They'll also live in Angel Court. And although Trinity is really large and it goes all the way back to the river, which is nice because you've got the avenue and you've got like green spaces to walk around. It's also in the heart of town, so if you go out of Great Gate, you're basically in the sort of city centre. You're really close to shops. Sainsbury's is a 45-second walk away from Hewells Court / Blue Ball Court, so it's really convenient. And then actually living in Trinity, you can be catered or you can be self-catered depending on what you fancy. So there are 3 meals served in hall every day. So you can eat there for all 3 meals and not do any cooking if you prefer. The meals are also really heavily subsidised, so it's about £3-4 for a starter, a main course, a dessert and some fruit. So it's really reasonably priced. But you can also cook in the kitchen in your accommodation. So most accommodation is equipped with sort of a decent kitchen. You might not necessarily get an oven, but you'll probably get a hob and a microwave and a toaster. So plenty of resources to make your own food. There's also the student bar / cafe, which is open from 9 AM to 11 PM. So you can get really good snacks, toasties, coffee, drinks. And that's quite a social hub as well. A lot of people will go and do their work there or meet up with friends. So in your first year, as I said, you'll probably live in the Wolfson building, but you could also be put in Angel Court. That's just to ensure that all the freshers are kind of in 1 or 2 places, so it's really easy to make friends. But your other students will live all over college. Some people tend to work out where they like to be, and then they can choose their rooms to be in the court that suits them. There's a college gym and sports facilities next to Burrells Field, so that's maybe a 5 to 10 minute walk from the main site. And there's a college library on the main site as well, which is open until 1 in the morning. It's got desks, it's got comfy seating, and it's got loads of resources, loads of books. You can get magazines, you can use the computers, printing. So it's a really well-stocked college library. And you can also work in the Wren Library, which is the college's rare books library in exam term. You can also just pop into the Wren Library anyway and look at all the exhibits and the rare books that they have on display. So it's a very nice study break, or something to do on the weekends. Accommodation. So all first years tend to live together, as you can see in the picture. This is a group of first years having kind of like a little hallway dinner, which is really lovely. So yeah, it's really easy to make friends, really easy to connect with other freshers. But you can choose where you live in 2nd and 3rd year and beyond. And there are loads of different types of rooms. So in places like New Court, which has been recently refurbished, you'll have en suites. They've got underfloor heating. They're really modern, nice rooms. But you can choose to live in places like Great Court, where you'll have a set, which is a room and then kind of like a study / living room, with beautiful views and like antique pieces of furniture, which is really nice. So there's rooms to suit all tastes. And regardless of what room you choose, your kitchen and your bathroom will be cleaned daily. And then once every week, you'll have a bedder who will sort of hoover your room, take out your rubbish. This is quite a weird phenomenon that's kind of only an Oxford and Cambridge thing, and it can seem a bit intimidating to have someone come in and do your cleaning for you, but it is just really handy, especially when you're really busy with work and you can't be bothered to hoover your room. And your bed is also someone that you'll see a lot, so it's really nice to have sort of like a friendly, comforting face as you're maybe going through an essay crisis, or you just want someone to chat to. They're always there to talk to you, which is very nice. And then there are some myths that float around about Trinity. Well, there are myths that float around about all the colleges, but I just thought I'd talk about a couple that are specific to Trinity. So a lot of people will tell me that they think Trinity is a lot harder to get into than the other colleges, and that is definitely a myth. No college is easier or harder to get into. All applications are balanced out by the pool system, which reallocates applications to different colleges if there isn't enough space in the college they originally applied to. And this basically works to make sure that if you're good enough to get into Cambridge, you'll get into Cambridge. You might not get into the college that you originally applied to, but you will get into the university. So Trinity is by no means harder to get into than any of the other colleges. Your chances are exactly the same. So if you see the virtual tour of Trinity and you think you'd really like to go there, don't be put off. It's completely just a myth. There's nothing backing it up. Your chances are just as good if you apply here than if you apply to another less popular college. I've also heard that Trinity is apparently much more intense than the other colleges and everyone works all the time and there's nothing going on, which is also a myth. Regardless of which college you attend, you'll be studying for the same exams, so your workload will be the same. Trinity students do work hard, but all Cambridge students work hard, but they also have a lot of fun, as you'll see in these pictures. So yeah, there's a lot going on. So the picture in the middle is from a BME dinner, I think. So that was a big formal dinner for BME students across Cambridge to get together, have a really nice dinner, take some pictures. I think people went to the bar afterwards and there was live music. So that's a really fun kind of evening. There's a lot going on. This picture is from the May Ball. So every year at the end of exams, Trinity hosts a massive party. Lots of other colleges do it, but Trinity's is meant to be very famous, which is a nice perk of going there. So it's a big party. There's loads of food, there's loads of drinks, there's loads of things to do. I think there was a Ferris wheel at the last one, which was really cool. And all the students, well, not all students tend to go. If kind of big parties are your thing, you can get a ticket and then you can spend all night just relaxing and celebrating the end of the year. And here are some more pictures. So some pictures from formals. So formal dinners happen a couple of times a week, and that's when you get to wear your Harry Potter Hogwarts style gown and have a really fancy 3 or 4 course meal. There's wine if you drink wine, or there's a really fancy juice if you don't. And yeah, it's a really nice evening. You don't have to go all the time. It's definitely not an obligation. You tend to go if you're celebrating something, or if it's someone's birthday. And then just got some other pictures. So the college has its own netball team. You can play sports at a college level, which is more chill, or you can play at a university level, which has a bit more training and you compete in competitions. But yeah, these are just some of the fun things that Trinity students get up to. So as I said, Trinity is a massive college. So there are lots of people to meet and there are lots of things going on at the time, all the time. So here are just a couple of things that you can get involved with. So there's student politics and activism. So there are campaigns for underrepresented groups in the university. For example, there's a BME campaign, there's a women's campaign. There are all different kinds of political societies. So there's a lot to get involved with if you're interested in that. Just about any sport you can imagine you can take part in, whether that's at a college level or a university level. Lots of people in Trinity tend to hang out in the bar and around college in the JCRs or in each other's rooms. So you can often wander into the bar and have a chat with somebody that you know. Watching TV in the JCR is also very popular, especially when there's a big football match on or it's Love Island season. I've seen some people camp out kind of half an hour before with all their snacks, just trying to get a seat if there's a big television event on. There are all kinds of student societies. There are more than I could possibly think of or count. So some of my personal favourites include the Assassin Society, which is where everyone who is a part of that society is randomly emailed the name of someone else and they have to pretend to shoot them at some point throughout the term. It gets really silly and you see people running through the streets trying to imaginary shoot people. There's also the Chocolate Society, which gives away a lot of freebies, so I would recommend if you're a chocolate fan. There are lots of cultural societies, so there's the ACS, which is the Afro-Caribbean Society, the Pakistani Student Society. There's also Fly, which is a place for women and non-binary people of colour. That's kind of like a discussion group. So whatever whatever nationality you are, there will be a society for that, and it's a really nice place to find solidarity. There's a lot of student journalism also going on, so we have a couple of student papers, and there are lots of magazines that pop up. So if you're interested in writing or drawing or anything like that, poetry, you can get your work published, which is really, really cool. And also a lot of students just do very normal things like watching Netflix in your room with friends. You don't have to be out doing something very structured and very formal all the time. You can just, get some snacks from Sainsbury's, which is handily close by, and spend your days watching Netflix as a kind of break from work. And that's completely fine too. Here are just some other extracurriculars. So you have the Afro-Caribbean Society, sporting societies, there are so many. And also if a society doesn't exist and you have something you're really interested in, the university will give you money to start it. So they really cater to whatever your interests are. You've got music societies, you've got academic societies, so the Cedric Club is for earth sciences, law society, Class Act, which aims to represent first generation students. So these are all things that happen on a university level, which is really nice because regardless of what college you go to, you can take part in this and meet students from all over different colleges. Maybe they'll be part of Anglia Ruskin, which is the other university. So it's a really great way to kind of broaden your horizons socially. So if you think that you might want to go to Trinity or just Cambridge, here are some things that you can do now to make it a little bit easier. So obviously you have to work hard to achieve the best grades you can. Research courses and research universities. So you may be considering courses at other universities, but just make sure that you find the course that's right for you. If you're going to do some extra reading because you've decided on a subject, you've decided on a course and you want to really kind of enrich your understanding, really critically engage with what you read. So it's not about reading absolutely everything that's out there. It's about reading a small selection of things that really interest you and asking yourself some good critical questions to really kind of deepen your understanding. Make sure you're doing the right A-level choices for the course you want to study. This can also be college specific, so check on the college specific website for the course that you want to do to make sure that that college accepts your A-level combination. And there are loads of what we call super curriculars, so those are academic extracurriculars that you can be doing from year 12, year 13, to really sort of strengthen both your ability at your subject and also to just get you thinking about some of the concepts you might be introduced to at university level. So here are just a few super curriculars. So there's reading, but if reading isn't really your thing, podcasts, documentaries, magazines, you can do things like Enrich and Explore, which are online courses. So that's actual activities that you can do that take you beyond the curriculum, going to museums, even reading, reading some tweets, reading academics talking about their work. That's really, really useful. So if you have any questions, this was quite a whistle-stop tour of Trinity and why you should consider applying. My email address is schools.liaison@trin.cam.ac.uk, and you can also find me on Twitter at Trinity Access, so I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So thank you for listening, and I hope you think about applying to Trinity.